If there were still people out there doubting Devin Haney prior to this fight, it's time to put some respect on his name. This man is only 25 years old, and he's now a 2-division world champion. And at 135, he was undisputed. Moved up to 140 and absolutely destroyed a man that everyone avoided. I mean, the performance that we saw from Devin Haney tonight was nothing short of spectacular. Went out there and pitched a complete shutout. Won every single round. He was in such complete control of the fight that it stood out just when Regis would land a punch. I mean, not a devastating punch, not a punch that hurt Devin, because he didn't even land any of those. Just a punch that landed. That's how rare they were. I mean, that's how totally dominant Haney was in this one. Look at the graphic at the end of this fight. This man only landed 36 punches. That's ridiculous. They were out there fighting for 12 rounds, and the man landed 36 punches. This is Regis Prograis. This isn't a bus driver. This isn't a school teacher. This isn't some tomato can who just came off the couch, came off the street. This is Regis Prograis, a world champion fighter here. This is the type of performance that puts fear in people, right? Not the fear of getting hurt. I mean, the guy that he's stepping in there against professional fighters, right? And this is a sport. This type of performance, right? This puts the type of fear in a guy of being embarrassed. Devin Haney went out there and he looked untouchable tonight. When this fight started, as soon as it kicked off, we saw the first phase of Devin Haney's game plan. Real simple. Stay on the outside. Not too groundbreaking, nothing we didn't expect. But he didn't do it by relying on the jab. Okay, when we talk about Devin Haney, we always talk about his jab. And there's a reason for it, man. The jab is awesome. There's an argument to be made that Devin Haney's got the best jab in boxing. But tonight we saw him control the distance with more than the jab. Right? And it's because Prograis is a southpaw, right? So it creates these different angles. And you can see at times that Devin had to keep the jab in his pocket, but he used the jab just enough, mixed it with some footwork, used some feints. Boom. He's able to keep the fight at the distance he wants, which is on the outside. Then once he's got the fight at the distance he wants, it forces Prograis to start coming in. That's what opens up the next phase of the plan for Haney. That's when he starts landing the counters. Particularly this right uppercut, man. You can see it here. He flashes it late in the second round. I mean, this was the punch that he was working on to counter the pressure that Prograis was going to bring. Prograis steps in here behind the double jab. Look at this. Haney slides back just out of range and counters with the uppercut. Beautiful timing. Beautiful shot. I mean, those are the type of punches that cause guys to tone down their aggressiveness. I mean, this is only the second round here. At this point in the fight, Haney is already starting to take control. He's established the distance. Prograis isn't cutting the ring off at all. And now he's starting to show really sharp counters when Prograis tries to step inside. Then we get to that third round, and that's when everything changes. That's when everything changes. I mean, we think about the one knock against Devin Haney his entire career. The one thing that everybody tries to point to right away is a lack of power. Great technique, awesome footwork, ring IQ. He can do it all, but the man can't punch. We hear that all the time. And then in a split second, he sees this opportunity and he capitalizes with a laser right hand. And he just drops Prograis. And from that moment forward, everything was different. You know, going into this fight, my guess is that Regis didn't have much respect for the punching power of Devin. But at this point in the fight, think about this, we're in the third round, and at this point in the fight, he already realizes he can't close the distance, he can't land his jab, and now he just got dropped by a guy who's supposedly a soft puncher. Haney comes out in the fourth round after scoring that knockdown in the third, and I felt like this was the point in the fight when we saw the last phase of his game plan come together. It's only the fourth round, and it's already basically a checkmate. He's working the jab a little bit more. He's doubling it up. He's putting the right hand behind it. He's going downstairs with it. He's going upstairs with it. I mean, by the time the bell rang at the end of the fourth round here, in my eyes, honestly, it was already over. Other than a lucky punch, I didn't see how Prograis was going to be able to put anything together that was going to put him in the driver's seat. I mean, all of his punches were coming up short. Like, it was obvious that he didn't want to step forward. He didn't want to commit to anything. He did not want to put himself in harm's way because he was concerned about what was coming back. I mean, Haney had that right hand cocked. He was ready to grow. Or he was going to let that thing loose at a moment's notice. Prograis did not commit any changes. He didn't cut the ring off. He didn't move his feet. He didn't try to get inside and rough Haney up, try to get dirty and nasty in the clinch or something, try to push him against the ropes. Nothing. Haney dominated the entire fight, start to finish, 120 to 107 on the scorecards. I mean, just dominated the entire fight. He was aggressive at times behind the jab. He's working in the right hands. Prograis throwing, Haney's counter effectively with the right hand and the check left hooks. He's easily circling, pivoting around on the outside. Did whatever he wants. Just amazing performance by the man, right? The man is now a 2-division world champion at only 25 years old. He's going out there and he is continuing to show why he is who we always thought he was, which is a top-tier talent. Now, here's what you got to ask yourself after a fight like this. Who's going to step in the ring with him? Who's going to be next? Who's going to call him up? Who's going to accept that fight? The man looked phenomenal. Everybody who was knocking Devin Haney was saying he didn't have power at 135. He was getting rocked by a guy like Linares. We saw him get hurt against Lomachenko. He's going to step up to 140. He's going to have less power. These punchers are going to be able to touch him on the chin. It's going to be a problem. What's he going to do, particularly as these fights go late? Is he going to be able to keep it on the outside? Is he going to be able to keep the distance? How's all this going to look? Now he comes out there against Prograis, man. Ooh, what's the story going to be? What's the story? Who's going to want to step in against him? Interesting questions after a phenomenal performance by Devin Haney. So let me know what you guys think. What looks next for him? We've heard him even tease 147. Is that what we see? Is that what we see? The man moves up to 140, snatches up the belt, and immediately jumps up to 147. What kind of a statement would that be?